What's up, my dude? Ski Jaden Eater Gaming. I appreciate you becoming a member of the channel. So just letting you guys know, I do have memberships for the channel now. I've been live streaming a lot more, so I got all that together. Basically what it is it's exactly like a subscription on Twitch. If you know what that's like, it's the same price, it's the same everything. You get custom emojis, you get an invite to the Dude Ski Roll in my Discord, you get all these other kind of perks, you get obviously access to members only live streams, members only live chat, members only videos and things like that. So it's a pretty cool extra way to help my channel out, and I really appreciate it. All you got to do is hit the join button below this video or on my front page, and it will show you everything that you get with that. So either way, let's get to today's video. So this is something that has sort of irked me for years now, and I really don't understand it. I don't understand it. Like, what in the hell is going on with the advertising for MX Simulator? Somebody please explain it to me, because I still don't get it. I swear to God, this is the most not advertised game I have ever seen in my entire life. Like, there's just no advertisement for it. It's not being put on things like Steam. It's not got, like, you know, an official YouTube channel with, you know, having like videos for updates and things like that. I mean, you just don't see anything for MX Simulator. This is the most bizarre thing I have ever seen, because it creates this very... MX Simulator is so underground and so hidden, it seems like, from the main population. I mean, shit, I've probably done more advertisement for MX Simulator over the years than the creator of the game has. I've probably done 10 times more advertisement, like, literally. Like, if there wasn't people making YouTube content for MX Simulator, it wouldn't even be half of the game that it is right now, as far as the amount of people that play it and, you know, things like that. I mean, that is the advertisement of MX Simulator. You don't have, like, official trailers. You don't have, you know, the game on Steam and all these other... You just don't see anything like that for it. So I'm just really confused by that. JOV has always been the creator, the sole developer of MX Simulator, has always been very... just sort of whatever, just kind of like, it don't really matter if the game reaches, you know, mass, you know, the mass majority, the mass audience of people, you know, the mainstream audience of people. It's like it just don't even really matter to the creator of MX Simulator. It's been a really bizarre thing. I'm just really shocked that the game is not on Steam right now. I mean, now we have MX Bikes on Steam. Like, what is going on? I mean, even down to, like, whenever you try to type in the specific game that you're playing before you upload a video on YouTube, you can type in MX Bikes and it will pull that up as an actual game on YouTube. But when you try to type in MX Simulator, it doesn't even pull it up as a game on YouTube. I swear to God, like, it is the most underground, and it's sad because if MX Simulator did have that sort of advertisement and did have those sort of, you know, trailers and get put on Steam and all these kind of things and really got pushed in that sort of category, oh my God. Like, could you imagine the amount of people that would play MX Simulator? I mean, it would be tenfold what it is right now as far as the amount of people that play it. I mean, it's like you gotta almost accidentally stumble across MX Simulator to even find it in the first place. It's like you gotta dig and dig to find MX Simulator. It's crazy. I mean, it's something that will never make sense to me. And I guess some of you guys can make up the argument of, like, well, you know, JLV doesn't really want to post, like, a bunch of stuff on it or make trailers and things like that for it because, you know, he doesn't, like, a lot of the, you know, MX Simulator is basically driven by community-made content and custom tracks and community-made gear. So if you just, like, tried to show basically the base, you know, naked version of MX Simulator without any of the custom community-made stuff, it would look like a very bare bones, you know, shitty graphics, terrible game. It certainly would, but I think JLV could definitely make trailers with some, some of the replica tracks, not necessarily, I guess, showing any like official sponsored banners or tough blocks or anything like that, because that could like cause a legal issue if he did that. So, I mean, I guess there is some little things like that. Whereas like with MX bikes, they're definitely pushing a lot more what you would call like default tracks in MX bikes made by the developer. And that's what you see in a lot of these things, like the trailer on Steam for MX bikes and things like that. It's a lot of the default tracks and stuff. But with MX Simulator, I mean, you're just not seeing a whole lot more like quote unquote, stock tracks in the game or anything like that. It's a very like, you start to get this very disconnected feeling between the developer of MX Simulator and then like what the game actually is. You know what I mean? Because MX Simulator would be nothing without all the track makers, the community track makers, the skin makers, the bike makers, the modelers. It's like, in a nutshell, JLV has just provided the core of a motocross simulator, which is the physics and the gameplay and the feeling on the bike, and then everybody else has came in and sort of taken that amazing core and created a game out of it, right? So, interestingly enough, it's almost like everybody, especially, people like me, people like JGMX, all these other guys that have made tons of tracks in the custom track community of the game, put their heart and soul into it, put their time into it, making tracks, making models, making skins, making bikes, making decals and objects and statues and tractions and all this kind of crap. It's almost like we have been an input into making MX Simulator what it is, because it really is like I'm saying, MX Simulator would be nothing without, people like me, people like JGMX, all these content creators, all these people, live streaming the game and all that kind of stuff. The game would be nothing without that. So it's kind of crazy, man. But I can't tell you the countless amounts of people that have told me, like, man, you're the guy that got me into MX Simulator. Like, man, you're the whole reason I even bought MX Simulator. Like, it's kind of crazy. I mean, I've sold a lot of copies of MX Simulator for JLV over the years. If I could guess, I would guess literally probably 500 copies of the game I've sold for JLV, strictly off of YouTube content that I've made for it. And I've obviously made money off of, the ads on the videos. So it all comes back around and shit like that, right? But it's crazy how this game has went down. I'm actually surprised that JLV has not started doing more just like developer advertisement for it. And I don't know. I mean, JLV has made literally the most amazing motocross physics ever, literally ever. But there's a certain side of JLV that just doesn't really push the game. He doesn't really push it mainstream, Like if JLV was really knocking on the doors for, some of these different advertisement, opportunities and really trying to push the game like that, I mean, oh my God. Like with the gameplay that the game is, that would take the game to a whole nother level. And that's what's so unfortunate about it. It's like if MX Simulator had the actual proper advertisement showing the kind of things that can be in the game, not just showing stock tracks and shitty skins and default skins, showing full-blown custom models and custom skins and tracks like Nicholas Sandbox tracks that have way superior graphical designs and decal resolutions and all that kind of stuff, and showing what the game can look like. If that was able to be really portrayed to the world, like somehow, the game comes out on Steam and JLV has got like this trailer that shows, the Nicholas Sandbox tracks. It shows like some really cool custom next level models and skins with bikes in the game and things like that. I swear to God, he would sell double the amount of copies of the game if he just did that, right? And if you're able to buy the game on Steam and basically have it to where you don't have to update it, it automatically updates it through Steam. You don't have to worry about snapshots and all that weird shit. And even potentially being able to download the custom tracks off of the Steam Workshop would be amazing for MX Simulator. That would be amazing. That would take the game to a whole nother level. So either way, kind of the point of this video is I just want to see MX Simulator get out of this weird-ass, like, underground, nobody really knows the game, nobody really knows what's going on with it unless you're like a super, super hardcore motocross gaming. It's just not even nowhere near hit the mainstream motocross world yet. And I don't know if it ever will, and it's sad because it has all the potential in the world gameplay-wise to be that thing, you know, that main motocross simulator that hits this, like, super mainstream popularity, but, you know, so far it's just been this very underground kind of game. And it's pretty obvious why. I mean, like I say, there's just no advertisement for it. There's no real trailers for it. There's no... You know, there's no real, like, putting it on Steam or, like, I don't think the game's ever going to be put on a console. I don't think there's ever going to be anything like that. I mean, there's just hardly any of that. And it just feels like a very, just not very funded game, you know? It's a very underground, very, it's just not a lot of backing behind the game, and that really does hold the game back in a lot of ways. That really does restrict the game in a lot of ways. I mean, the community can only do so much, you know. We can only do so much for track content and bike and gear, and that's going to keep on going, and that's what's kind of kept the game alive for a decade plus, right? But at the end of the day, if it doesn't start getting more advertisement, doesn't start getting put on Steam and all these other things like what MX Bikes is doing, it's going to be a tough road for MX Sim. And maybe that's, you know, I mean, I'm starting to get that vibe from JLV. Like, he's just kind of, I mean, you don't see him as much in the actual pro race servers. You don't see him really doing as much, you know, like that. You just don't see JLV being as active as he used to be. I don't really know what's going on with that. I just really hope it doesn't get to that point where, you know, JLV is kind of like, well, MX Simulators ran its cycle. It lasted for, a decade plus. We've had a good run. Like, that's just about it. You know, I'll keep the game up for purchase, but I'm kind of done working on it, done messing with it. I just hope it never gets to that point, you know. I want JLV to keep on it, man. You got to keep on it. You got to keep pushing it. You got to keep, I mean, oh my God. Like, it cannot be that hard to put MX Simulator on Steam. It cannot be. There's no way. So it's getting to this point where it's just like, I don't know. It's becoming a very lost in the abyss. What even is that game? What even was that game? Nobody knows anymore. Oh, MX Simulator? What is that? Like, nobody even knows. I mean, it's starting to get where, like, games like MX Bikes have more popularity just because of what the developer is doing for the game. Which, yes, I understand JLV is just one guy, and what he's created is amazing, but, man, I feel like he could do more in that sort of category, in that whole advertisement, you know, really trying to push the game, and, you know, people like Kellen Brower have certainly tried to push it more into, you know, Racer X and all that kind of stuff. There's some people trying to push it, but I don't know. I just don't know if it can ever really go there without the developer pushing it like that, right? I guess that's kind of what I'm getting at, but either way, just a little video I wanted to make. MX Simulator would be 100 times bigger than what it is right now if it just had some kind of advertising or some kind of, you know, being put on different platform, being put on Steam. I mean, anything like that. The game would be so much bigger. It would be insane. I feel like so many people just don't even know what the hell is even going on with MX Simulator. There's not, like I say, there's not this coherent, like, real new trailer for the game showing off what can be made in the game, like Nicholas Sandbox tracks, high-res decals, you know, high-res skyboxes, high-res stadiums, awesome lighting effect tracks, amazing newer models and skins and bikes and helmets and skins and reflections and all this kind of stuff. There's just nothing really out there that is properly portraying that to the mass audience, the mainstream audience. So I feel like a lot of people just don't even, it's like there's not even the opportunity for them to really see what MX Simulator is like. It just seems like this really weird underground game, really way too complicated underground game. I feel like this vibe a lot of people get from it now. A lot of newcomers get from the game now. So it's really unfortunate. Hopefully that all turns around one day, but somebody's got to wake up. Somebody's got to do something about this, or this game is just going to get even more underground until no one cares about it and nobody's really playing it. I mean, I'm just being honest. It's going to have to do something to not go down that road. So either way, definitely let me know down in the comments what you guys think. Appreciate you guys watching all the videos. Later, dudes.